time for a game of disappearing bears.
Science fiction, double feature, Dr. X, he'll build a creature, the androids fighting, Brad and Janet, and friends and stars and Forbidden Planet, at the late night double feature, picture show.
Oh, bother. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first Cool Kids double feature. And we didn't really plan this, but it's bear themed. It is our double feature BEAR-A-THON featuring Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Cocaine Bear. This is what a time to be alive, right?
I can't bear the excitement any longer.
Oh, fuck you. I should fucking that.
This isn't over! Bears!
This isn't over. Bears! Okay, let's just get into the review because we got 2 movies to do. So let's just jump right into it with my review of Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. All right, well, not everything can be the Evil Dead. After the first Winnie-the-Pooh novel became public domain in 2022, Reese Frake Waterfield took it upon himself to take A.A. Milne's colorful group of anthropomorphic characters and really, let's say, run with it. Now, does it work? Not really for the most part, but let's jump right into it. I'm not going to do what I normally do and go category by category with this because this really isn't the type of movie for that. Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey is a ridiculous and stupid premise. Somewhat creative, taking these beloved childhood icons and turning them into bloodthirsty murderers. At the very least, does it deliver on its premise? Yes, but not well. It's enjoyable at points. The ridiculousness of it and the kills are great. It's for the most part competently made. Like, it looks fine. It looks like it's budget, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Considering the superhero movie that shall not be named had an over $300 million budget, and that looked like it had the budget of 2 hay pennies. So I'll take it. The costumes for Piglet and Pooh look okay, and it's pretty enjoyable, as I said, in a perfectly so bad it's good way. I also like the animated opening and the transition to the opening credits. However, there is plenty wrong with it. Most of the actors can't act their way out of a wet paper bag. There is pretty much no plot. The cinematography does what I call the Hunger Games effect, where every time someone is running, it looks like they're having a goddamn seizure. There is long stretches of almost nothing happening, and the characters can get pretty irritating after a while. I don't mind that it took itself so seriously, because if you go too goofy, you get movies that are in on the joke, and those movies end up being really terrible. However, I think this could have benefited from being a straight-up horror comedy and lean into the more ridiculous aspects of its premise, because then it would have made it more memorable, akin to something like Tucker and Dale versus Evil or Cabin in the Woods, just without the satirization or meta commentary. But here, it's just a semi-enjoyable slasher. Before I end this review, I did want to put something into perspective. This isn't a forgivable aspect, and I'm not saying you have to like the movie because of this, because I more than understand why people hate this movie. But I do want people to think of what this movie is. Normally, these types of movies just get uploaded to YouTube, maybe get a couple thousand views, and get forgotten in the algorithm. But this guy managed to make a movie, which was his directorial debut, by the way, and it getting so much publicity that it managed to get released in theaters based on the premise alone, especially in an industry as unforgiving and cutthroat, pun intended, as the filmmaking industry. I weirdly have to commend him for that. I sympathize with the struggle and the fact that he managed to make this rinky-dink little movie and get the biggest achievement any no-budget filmmaker can really achieve, getting it into theaters. I can't imagine the excitement that Frake Waterfield went through when he realized this. So it sucks. Whatever. he went the fucking distance. Not everyone can say that. He may not be Michael Mann or James Cameron or Frank Darabont, but that's okay. I'm happy for him despite his movie not being the greatest, because he tried. Hopefully, he can do better next time. I await his strange filmmaking journey into the realms of taking beloved icons and making them serial killers. And with that, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. Cinematic Sterling, I take it to you.
It's trying to parody dumb and generic slasher movies, but ends up becoming a dumb and generic slasher movie itself. Judging from the concept, I was expecting a dumb fun movie, so bad it's good. But instead, I got something that is just plain stupid. I cannot think of any positives for the life of me aside from the fact that it's short, so let's get into it. First off, the acting in this movie is fucking horrible. None of the actors are convincing. The characters they play are flat, bland, and so goddamn stupid. There are so many moments where I'm just face palming and groaning at all the characters' stupidity. I don't remember anyone's names or personality traits for the life of me. In fact, they all look and act the same. They just blend into each other easily. At some points, I thought a character died. Thought one character died, but they came back. They're just that identical. They're just that identical to each other. They're all interchangeable. The actor who plays Christopher Robin is annoying, and I don't feel sorry for him at all. Winnie and Piglet aren't interesting antagonists either. They're just generic killers with spirited Halloween masks. The dialogue at points is very cringeworthy and repetitive, and I thought this was being written by Frank Miller after he went nuts, with all the times the characters repeat themselves. The kills are shot horribly. There's so much shaky cam, scenes being shot in the dark, and there's a gratuitous use of CGI blood, which is very noticeable and very distracting. And I always have an issue with choppy and sloppy editing. That's one of the big things I always pay attention to in movies. Editing and pacing, and this movie failed at both of those. I know I probably sound grumpy, saying this about a slasher movie about Winnie-the-Pooh. But I can't just, I gotta judge this as a movie, and as a movie, it sucks. I know there's a good success story with this guy, but honestly, if there is a sequel to this, and he's gonna be doing more horror movies based off public domain characters, I'm really not interested. In fact, you could consider me putting any movies in this franchise in my movie graveyard list. If they're going to come out, I'm personally not going to see them. You're not losing anything from not watching this. This was a movie made for Tubi that was released in theaters. So far, it's one of the worst. So far, it's one of the worst movies I've seen all year. It's not as bad as this, but it's still bad. Honest to God, yeah, fuck this movie. I'm giving this a 0. I'm giving this a 0 out of 10. This movie did absolutely nothing for me. I could not find anything redeeming at all.
So it's my turn. Nice. So I actually like the movie. For a movie that had a budget of under $100,000. You have to expect it was going to be a pile of shit type kind of movie. Knowing that's what I was going to get going in, I had fun with it. Obviously, the acting was bad. Just it felt like it was shot different. It felt like it was shot differently. The first 15 minutes looked like it was different compared to the last 40 minutes of the movie or 50 minutes. Not sure if because of the publicity or the big trending, he got a little bit more of a budget to make the movie, but it felt like it ended the first 15 minutes. But the kills were cool. It's not as ridiculous as I think most people are going to hope for this movie to be. It did have no reason to be on theaters because it was really hard to see some of the stuff that was going on with the movie, especially with some of the kills. For example, there's a scene where Pooh's about to throw some girl into like a grinder or a grainer or some type of machine, but you had a hard time making out what he was going to do with her. There's a few other things where you can just tell this movie was just not made to be in theaters, but I had fun watching it. I know that the history behind, I guess, this version of Pooh was something Frank Waterfall did like a small little clip of like the same type of Pooh talking or something that trended a lifetime ago, like an evil Pooh, evil Winnie-the-Pooh at some point. But overall, it's not a great movie. But if you're looking for something that's like really bad, like a guilty pleasure that's so bad that it's trying to be serious, but it shouldn't be serious. Period. The other thing I could say that it's very predictable. They just try to show you a lot of crazy kills. And that's clearly what the director was just trying to shoot for, is to show you some crazy kills with Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And that's pretty much it, what he's trying to do. There's no like mythology. There's nothing really to expand on Winnie the Pooh and this type of world that he was trying to build. Again, to me, it's like it's a C-list type kind of movie. Like Cinemax Sterling said, it should be on something like Tubi, YouTube. Had no business being in theaters, but overall, I did like the movie, and I appreciate that the guy tried to do something with under $100,000 on an hour and 20-minute budget, or 100 hour and 20-minute timeline, basically. So my score is a 5 out of 10.
Okay. So, based on the silly concept of turning a children's story and turning it into an R-rated horror film with blood and gore, I wasn't expecting it to be good, but I was at least hoping it would be like a dumb but fun guilty pleasure kind of movie. Unfortunately, I would honestly have to side with my good friend, I don't know if I'm pointing the right way, my good friend Devin. What? What'd you say? Okay.
No, you're pointing at Devin.
Okay. I'm opening up I have a different window up, so I can't see. But sadly, the final product did not deliver on its silly concept. Instead of it being a so bad it's good kind of movie, it ended up being a so bad it's bad. First of all, the acting is terrible. Not one performance sound convincing, especially the actor that played Christopher Robin, who was just annoying me and couldn't convince me he was scared of what Winnie-the-Pooh and the gang had become. Also, the characters are just dull, unlikable cardboard cutouts with zero personality. I can't even tell you what a single name of any of the characters outside of Christopher Robin. Not to mention, they all look similar. I mean, we're first introduced to this one girl that's in this therapist office, and then I kind of wonder, like, if she was like the second or third to get killed off. They all look the same to me. The camera work and editing is just so obnoxious. There's so much shaky cam, and the editing is just way too choppy and way too quick. It's hard to tell what the hell's even going on half the time. Even the kills are just so poorly shot, and most of them are just your generic strangulation and sledgehammer bludgeoning. I mean, yeah, the car kill was unique, but it was also ruined by the horrible CGI blood. And please, can we just stop it for once with using CGI blood in horror movies nowadays? Can we please stop with that? Also, this movie promotes this as a horror take on the classic Winnie-the-Pooh tale. However, despite the fact that there are multiple characters in Winnie-the-Pooh, only 3 are present. Pooh, Piglet, and Christopher Robin. Owl, Rabbit, and Eeyore are only mentioned at the beginning, and Tigger, Kanga, and Roo are just nowhere to be found. And there's also plot points that just go absolutely nowhere. There was one point where a character has a traumatizing moment where a man broke into her house and nearly sexually groomed her while she was sleeping, and it just goes nowhere. And yeah, I will admit, maybe there are a few unintentionally hilarious moments just here and there. However, even those moments just couldn't save this film from being so boring. The main reason I didn't enjoy this film is, despite its silly concept, is because it's so boring. I just stopped giving a shit what was going on 30 minutes into, and I wasn't invested in the story or the characters. Maybe I could have forgiven like the bad acting or the choppy editing or poor camera work, since the budget was less than $100,000, and that is a fair point. You can't hire the best cinematographer or editor or actors with that kind of budget. However, that doesn't excuse the terrible writing and the awful characters. I don't care if the budget was a McDonald's Big Mac sandwich. I still want to be invested in the story and the characters, regardless of what the budget is. Also, and maybe if it was like self-aware with its tone and just embraces campy nature and just have fun with its concept, that could have been one thing. Unfortunately, it plays itself way too straight. It plays itself too serious that I'm not even able to do that. And yet again, it becomes boring. I cannot recommend this film for the life of me. I know that we're only into the month of February, but so far, this is the worst film I've seen so far in 2023. I don't know what the rest of the year holds. Maybe there might be something, knock on wood, but as of February 2023, this is the worst I've seen so far. And my score is a 1 out of 10.
All right. I'll just say this. I'm still sticking with Christopher Robin. Thank you very much. But that being said, no one was going in expecting this to be good or anything masterful, anything John Carpenter-esque or whatever. But that being said, especially since I saw Christopher Robin in 2018, I've been more open to the Winnie-the-Pooh franchise. I found myself enjoying the characters and the storylines and all that. So when I heard they're doing a horror movie off of it, I was like, sure, whatever. I don't have any particular feelings about it. I'll just go see it or whatever. But no expectations going in, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I will say this, it is not a good movie. In fact, I would even say it hardly even actually uses the Winnie-the-Pooh concept hardly at all, despite the opening bits and all that. Like Devin said, the characters don't look convincing. You can tell it's just a mask. But that being said, I had fun with it. It had some cool kills. It actually had a pretty chilling score. And it just felt brutal. Like there are actually moments where I actually felt kind of intimidated by the kills, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just because of the mood I was in, but I will say the ending kills the movie for me. Like it was never gonna get higher. My rating was never gonna get higher than what I'm gonna give it, but nevertheless, the ending killed it. I was like, especially considering something that this character says they went through with their trauma and all that. I thought it was too mean-spirited to then kill this character off at the end, like as though that whole storyline meant nothing. I didn't like that. It's just another instance where all the characters die at the end. Not necessarily the villain wins, but all the characters end up dying at the end. The only horror movie where I feel like this happened and it worked was the original Night of the Living Dead. But I digress. Again, it's not a good movie. It doesn't even use the Winnie-the-Pooh concept hardly at all. But that being said, for what it was, I enjoyed it just for what kills and carnage there was, and I'll give it a 6. It's a movie. I'll hand it off to Mark.
To quote Obi-Wan, you have become the very thing you swore to destroy. They wanted to parody stupid slasher movies, so of course they created a stupid slasher movie. Congratulations, guys. Wow, what an achievement. I hope this would be nothing more than dumb fun, but they forgot one of those ingredients. I expected nothing, and I was still let down. This shouldn't have been hard. It was cheaply made, sure, but that doesn't preclude a good script or clever dialogue or even necessarily halfway decent acting. Hell, it could have been still been good with those limitations if they had just had fun with the concept, which is honestly the only way to make something like this work. But they played it so straight that it comes across as maddeningly bad as it sounds. Like the worst of the generic 80s slasher films. Those films died out in the 90s, their corpse burned by Wes Craven, their corpse buried by Wes Craven in Scream, one of the masters of the genre, even if Hollywood took entirely the wrong message from that film. Yet I digress. It doesn't even work as nostalgia bait because, ironically, it's not even a good slasher film. Christopher Robin makes a horrible protagonist because he comes across so weak and whiny. I actually wanted him to die just so he would shut the fuck up. the rest of the human characters, if you can call them that, are even more bland, forgettable, and interchangeable than your usual slasher film, to the point that I honestly couldn't tell one from another. Like my buddy Devin up here says, I thought some of them had died and wanted to pop up back in. Like, where the fuck were you? Where the fuck are you come from? Winnie-the-Pooh and Piglet lose any personality or dialogue whatsoever, sacrificed on the altar of making them horrifying. The only thing horrifying in this travesty is the dialogue, the acting, the cinematography, pretty much all of it. I know hindsight is 20/20, but I still can't believe I thought this was a good idea. Maybe in more capable hands, this could have worked, ironically, but I shan't get my hopes up for any future projects in this vein. So they're going to have to do a lot better job than this to impress me. So my rating is a 1 out of 10.
I don't know if it was just me, but it's weird. I was getting flashbacks to Men.
Oh,
Like the whole like a traumatized woman going to a secluded house in the woods and being stalked by someone. I'm like oh god, please don't have a million scenes of her of this woman just walking around and have Winnie-the-Pooh be given birth 4 times.
Man.
Yeah.
So did you guys like any of the kills, or at least one kill that stood out to you?
I really liked. Well, the one that was used in the intro, was used in the trailer, was when Piglet takes the sledgehammer to the girl's face.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me too.
oh shit!
Cool.
I'm like, that was fucking good.
Yeah, it's probably the best.
Like I said, like I found myself intimidated by a few of these kills. I thought it was gnarly and vicious, even if we don't actually see the gore. Like when Piglet goes to chew that one girl's face off, and I'm like, okay.
I'm starting to think the only reason they have Pooh and Piglet is because they didn't have enough money in the budget for Eeyore or Tigger or Roo.
So
like I said, Owl, Rabbit, and Eeyore were mentioned at the beginning, but then that's it. We don't see them at all. Exactly.
Well, yeah, Eeyore got fucking killed.
Well, I know.
See him again. Like
that I know. But I mean, they could have at least had Owl or Rabbit.
Well, they are doing a sequel, so maybe we'll see more of them in the sequel.
I'm kind of done. I mean, I
don't
enjoyed the
care.
movie, but I don't plan on seeing any
I'll
sequels.
watch it.
I don't care.
Watch it.
Because that was a missed opportunity, though. I mean, just imagine if they actually had fun with the concept, like Tigger using his tail to squash someone's butt.
That's what it should have been.
It's like Violent Night.
Maybe the director will learn his lesson.
Ridiculous.
Like maybe he'll be like, okay, this was played too seriously. Let's try it again.
Like,
and I liked. I like the things that I did like. I actually thought the masks looked okay. Like they looked fine.
Yeah, same.
They looked a little bit better than I thought. Like it wasn't like the worst. It wasn't like a plastic mask or anything. I thought they looked good. And then there was one scene where it didn't look too bad, where like the face was moving. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. The practicals are really good. From what it was, I mean, it's probably just like Caro and Die like it normally is, but it worked. I liked the set where the Pooh and Piglet were, like that big set like of the treehouse. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That was pretty much like it. It was like that's kind of what it was. Like half the time I was just like looking on my phone. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty boring. And then like the other half is like, oh, hey, cool, something happened.
Yeah,
that's
like,
cool. And then like I just go back to my phone. Like I'm just like, all right, cool.
Like it's just a giant frustrating mix of cool ideas that they could have had fun with, but bad execution.
Yeah,
it was bad. And as I said, I do weirdly respect it for the reason I said. Like I appreciate that like this guy managed to literally meme himself into theaters. Like that's, I don't know. I just find that to be kind of awesome. Like it managed to, he managed to make it actually work. Like not the movie, but like
Just to
going
get in
that
theaters.
distance.
But that's
Yeah.
marketing, though, John. That's just marketing.
No,
That's
no,
like,
I know. I'm
it's like the
it's
Blair
just,
Witch
well, I
Project.
mean, like it would
Yeah.
the marketing wouldn't exist without the movie, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't market something that doesn't exist.
But
so.
I mean, you can't say it's a good movie just because it had good marketing.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not, as I said, I'm not saying it's forgivable or good, but I respect the fact that it managed to sneak its way into theaters, and we did actually he saw his movie get into theaters, and he did say that the budget's going to be way bigger next time. And I'm really curious with his future projects, which are going to be based around Bambi and Peter Pan, and I feel
funny?
like.
Oh, I was saying,
What's up?
because
No,
like,
no, no.
it's like
Go ahead.
Cody Leeds said, well, maybe next time you'll put in 5 times the effort.
Hopefully. But I don't know. It's just like I feel like if this didn't get a theatrical debut, it was this little thing on YouTube, nobody would have batted an eye. It would have been like, okay, this guy made this YouTube movie, sure, and then like everyone would have moved on. But the fact that it did manage to like get its way into theaters, it was given like some sort of budget, that kind of thing. I commend it for that. Does it make it good? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that's forgivable. I'm not saying that's a good aspect. I respect that aspect taken out of the equation in terms of it as a movie. I gave it a 5.5 as a movie, not for the marketing and not for him like commending one wannabe filmmaker to another.
Yeah. But
that was pretty much just what I was saying.
Pressure will not stay in the man.
Yeah.
But 5.5, I gave it 5.5 because the things that I liked warranted a 5.5. So that's what I gave it. That's just what I'm trying to say.
I'm sorry though, because like,
let's just.
I
was gonna say, just show hands. Who actually did see this theater? So.
I went on the pirate ship,
and
unfortunately, I could not see it with Regal Unlimited.
I couldn't see it with. Oh shit! I gotta get ready. Damn it! I couldn't see it with AMC South A-List.
I need to get that clip from South Park with the guy beating the dead horse, because that's what you guys do.
You know what? I think out of all of us, I think I might have had the worst experience because one, our movie didn't start until 20 minutes later after the showtime, and two, we still had to deal with the Nicole Kidman ad.
Oh,
yep.
Sorry.
Oh, you poor unfortunate.
I honestly, it was when I went to go see Cocaine Bear earlier today. I didn't know if there were like kids in the theater because but I mean it was a rated R movie, so who knows. But I really wanted to yell, but I was with my parents and they are like try to be like, oh my god, like prim and proper. Like I just wanted to yell whenever she says heartbreak feels good in a place like this, which by the way does not make any fucking sense whatsoever. I just want to yell, shut the fuck up. Australia, take your bitch back. I was just I'm just so
thank God.
sick of it.
Speaking of that,
and another thing that happened is, weirdly enough, I remember a couple bringing like their child who looked like she was 2 years old.
Oh wow!
To a movie about Winnie-the-Pooh and friends killing people.
Congratulations,
no joke.
You failed as a parent.
Yes.
There was one parent that brought their kid too. Probably around 8 or 10.
It's actually a funny thing with me, right? Like,
hold on, Zach, shush. Mark, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of that shit, last night when we went to see Cocaine Bear, Kaylee became my fucking hero when she, there was this couple. There was, I guess, the older couples looked like with the little girl, like their granddaughter or whatever. A little girl too, like couldn't be more than 5, 6 years old. Seeing fucking Cocaine Bear, and either way, they would not shut up. They kept talking at first to the previews, which I was fine. I didn't care. I'm like, it's just previews. But then the movie started. They just kept up, and Kaylee was like, "Are y'all going to talk the whole time?" Just yelled, seriously, just yelled back. "Are y'all going to talk the whole time?" And they just shut the fuck up. They didn't say another word the whole time. It was beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Chocolate
yes.
salt.
What carefully, she's a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you know what's funny though? It's like I've found it weird with the movies I go to in my theater. Because, like, say, whenever I go see family films or kids or Disney films, it's not to say that there aren't any kids there, but for the most part, it's more like adults there. Like, I remember Toy Story 4 and Aladdin, even Christopher Robin. There were like
Yes, Austin,
more
not all
adults
heroes
there
wear capes.
than there were kids. But whenever I've went to see any like R-rated films, like I remember me and my cousin went and saw Logan. There are a bunch of parents taking their kids to see it. Then other ones like Alien Covenant, the Halloween films, all the trilogy. The only one really was Joker, because our theater actually put out kind of like a little warning thing saying, do not take your kids to see this because it's like ultra intense, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they should have that for. You know what? It's like I was just gonna say they should have that for every R movie but the thing is they shouldn't, because here's the thing. These dumbasses, and I remember seeing this comment, and now I say it every time because it's deserved to be said. These dumbasses are the reason that there are warning labels that say "do not drink" on antifreeze bottles. Like, these are the same motherfuckers are the reason why we have that warning label. It's like, really? Like, how fucking stupid can you be? Like, okay, like, all right, I'm not saying it's forgivable, but I'll give it like Logan or Deadpool. They're superhero movies, which are categorized as more child-driven movies.
Mm-hmm.
Still stupid because do your research, but like, I'll give them that. But a movie that's literally called Cocaine Bear. It's a drug plus bear. Like, how fucking stupid are you? Like, really? Ah, yes. Cocaine Bear. I remember back in my day when I had the crack cocaine. Let's take our 7-year-old granddaughter to see this. Come on, Georgia. Let's go.
Cocaine!
Speaking of Cocaine Bear, on this double feature, I did not see this movie, and I
Yes, we're
refuse
gonna
to.
put you in backstage. Calm your tits.
No, I'm just saying, like, I did not see this for reasons. So
I think you should. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. But we kind of devolved into like talking about other shit.
Well, back to
okay. But I mean, we don't really have. Does anybody else have really anything else to say about Honey?
I do.
Okay.
Rum.
I gotta say, like, the opening with like the worst kill in this movie, and probably one of the worst kills I've ever seen for a horror movie, was Christopher Robin's wife, like, getting strangled, and you got Christopher Robin like just kind of like doing this and not really doing anything. It was so bad. Like,
he was such a pussy.
Yeah, it was.
He was.
He
sucked. Christopher Robin sucked.
We need the clip of them saying, "Do something. Do something. Do something.
Do something."
That's my final
wife or fiance is getting murdered.
Fiance, yeah, whatever it was. Like,
it's like that's my final thoughts on this whole
bad.
movie in a nutshell. It's like this concept and how they're handling it. Do something with it.
I think what they could have done to like make it kind of work, to like at least kind of make sense of like why Christopher Robin like didn't help, is like maybe at the end he like offers like to give them food like the old times, and like he kills people for him so that they can eat or something like that. Like, just kind of like, I don't know, just give him a reason as to like, because he's so much of a coward.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
To get him
like
out of it.
Dracula. Just
I'll help you. Exactly. Because I literally
Renfield.
saw the preview for Renfield. Obviously,
Renfield, yeah.
The parallels are there, but it just would have made sense because I was watching. I'm like, that's what I thought they were going to do at the end of the movie. Like, he was gonna like Pooh was gonna like get to them, and then I don't know, just try to maybe start to like get himself out of it, and then like be like, Pooh, here, food, remember? Like I used to do, here, and then like offer the chick, and then like he kills her and then like starts like eating her intestines or something. That could have been cool, and that would have like kind of weirdly make everything like he becomes maybe so traumatized by everything, and he's so much of a pansy that he actually would do that. and he wants to live in like that kind of thing, that would have worked. That would have at least been like, okay, that makes sense. But no, he's like, take me. And then he kills her.
Take me!
And then he runs away. He's like, what?
What?
Then he says, "You live." What?
What?
No, Pooh. No, at the end, Pooh said, "You left."
You left, yeah.
Okay.
And
By the way, you could understand what he was saying. I thought you live. But
yeah,
okay.
exactly. That's another issue with the movie. The dubbing and like the audio syncing.
So bad.
It was terrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, some of the
that was bad.
cinematography at times was just really bad. Like, I mean, to be fair, I had to, yo ho ho it. And as I said, when she's running, it's like this. It's like, oh my god, that's not how people run, man. Like,
what is this? The Hunger Games? What the fuck?
That's, as I said, it's the Hunger Games effect. That's what, like, Devin, feel free to get the views and opinions quote ready, but I'll just go back to that CinemaSins joke. Director of photography, Michael J. Fox.
and also it was giving me Rob Zombie vibes because he uses nausea and shaky cam all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, Zack Snyder too. He's
I was gonna say Michael Bay.
That was the other
Michael
thing
Bay
I'd
is
say.
still
Could have
keep
Rob
doing that
Zombie.
shit.
Like he definitely took some inspiration from like the Rob Zombie type movies. I mean,
Yeah, I can tell.
yeah,
You know
like,
what I think?
especially the Hillbillies in the UK. I wasn't like, wait, were you watching something? in the
yes,
South
he
of
is
the United
Willy
States,
Wonka,
or-
and this is his fucking
Okay,
chocolate factory.
You know what I say? I dare say maybe Rob Zombie would have done this better.
No.
Shut the fuck
Honestly,
up.
Oh, God,
I
no.
could see it. Why not?
No.
Fuck it. Like,
Fuck no.
He ruined the monsters. Why not ruin Winnie-the-Pooh?
Sure,
Why
fuck
not?
it.
Please shut
Me
the
too.
fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but what I was something I was gonna say was if this was like this director, if this was like his foot in the door, and then he would move on to like other horror projects or just other projects away from this, then I would have a little respect for him. But this dude,
he's doubling down on it.
he's
Oh, he
doubling
is?
down. And if this is gonna be the movie he's gonna be, all the movies he's gonna do, this guy is a one-trick pony.
Well, yeah.
He has one.
Because I can't
He
take
has
that
one style,
anymore.
one trick, and he's gonna run it into the ground. And
That
even then, the
part.
first time he tried it,
Absolutely.
it didn't even work.
That
I mean, he
part.
did an interview where he's basically focused on the kills. He didn't really care about the story. He could talk about Bambi and Peter Pan and the sequel. He's just more about the kills and telling a good story or make you care about the characters. It's just like, what are the crazy,
Yeah,
messed
I
up
can see
ways
that.
we can kill people? So
And
it's
like the sequel, it could be because here's an example: the first Terrifier. I fucking hate that movie. I think it's terrible. No plot, no characters, nothing. The sequel, however, was surprisingly good because he listened to the director listened to the criticisms of the first movie. He gave us a plot, and he gave us characters that we actually cared about.
I
So-
need to see that. I
and-
still need to see that.
I guess
maybe-
that too.
maybe-
sequel.
I haven't seen
you know
either
what,
Terrifier
though?
movie.
Like,
so I
I'm
can't say.
sorry, that's the success story as far as the box office that I'm rooting for more is with Terrifier 2.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I could see that. Like as I said, I'm not saying like him making it into the theaters is forgivable. Just like I kind of relate to that a little bit. Like, that's nice to see. But like, if that's what his career is, I have respect for him now, and I have respect for the movie now. But again, that can change. Things change. People change. Opinions change. So I'm not saying I'm always gonna say that. I'm always gonna stick like that. I do want to, say that because, I'm not that stupid, but I just wanted to mention that. I'm like, that's commendable. That's relatable to me. And so I just wanted to say that. But, it that could change because the way he made it sound, he's kind of sounds like an egotistical douche, which could very well be the case. And just running this shit into the ground. I'm curious. I'm at the very least curious because, again, Terrifier exists. So he could improve on the. We won't know.
But
And
judging
I guess
from
I'm the
his
only person
atti-
that's going to stick with it. So,
but judging from like his attitude and shit, I doubt he's gonna learn. I doubt he's gonna change. He'll spend his money on the next budget just for more gore.
To be fair, I think I remember him saying that the next movie, I think whether that be sequel or the Bambi movie or the Peter Pan movie, he did say it's going to have 5 times the budget, $500,000. That's pretty good. So who knows? Again, we'll all have to wait and see because you gave up. I think nobody else wants to deal with this. So fair. That's fair.
How much was Terrifier 2?
I mean, I'll watch it, just not in theaters. I'm just not going to spend another, $15 to go see it in theaters.
That's fair.
I just don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I don't. It's not that I'm not gonna see it, but I'll be like, yeah, you're just gonna milk this. It's gonna get tired really fast.
Yeah.
What about
like
you,
the
Mark?
MCU? Did I say that out loud?
What about you, Mark? Are
Mark
you
cannot give a fraction of a fuck even if he wanted to?
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Mark's too old to care at this point. He's like,
Mark's
I'll go
like,
see
just make
movies
it
I
stop.
want, and if he doesn't, then the only reason that this man sees shitty movies is because we force him to.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say force him to.
Morbid
To be fair,
I was gonna say, Mark, you remember you saw Skinamarink despite Devin's warning.
Skinny
Yeah,
dipping, you mean?
like,
That's what I call
sometimes I
it.
have morbid curiosity, so I mean,
yeah, and then a certain
Exactly.
someone saw Firestarter even despite your warnings, Rob. So
exactly.
Oh,
no,
God.
I'm not saying that.
I don't
against you. I'm
regret it.
saying
I
that
mean,
again.
because look, I'm not afraid of
A
watching
certain
bad
someone.
movies because I mean it's just a fucking movie. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, I mean, besides, honestly, you guys know me. I like complaining. So shit. I mean,
Yeah.
it gives me something to complain about.
Mark
Especially
Smash.
about Taika Waititi's.
Oh dear God, yeah. Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love
Okay,
that.
let's not get Mark started.
go.
We want to keep this in like a good sort of, because if we do that, this fucking live stream is going to be 4 hours long. So
Two people,
I'll say
James Gunn,
again,
Taika
final
Waititi's.
thoughts on Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey before we move on.
It sucks.
Don't watch it.
It's a pile of shit, but enjoyable. Pile
Even
of
I
shit.
can't recommend it. Even though I have a
Same.
relatability towards it, even I can't recommend it.
Same here.
I would
Just catch it
say
on a streaming
eventually,
service.
maybe see a compilation of the kills if they ever get uploaded to the
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah,
my
That's
final-
kind of about it.
Like my final thoughts, I enjoyed it just for the gore alone, but it's a frustrating mix of cool ideas that they could have actually used, but terrible execution.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm with Zach on that one. But if you're curious, wait for it to be on a stream. Wait for it somewhere where you can actually watch it for free somewhere, maybe on YouTube somewhere. If you're that curious to watch a bad movie.
Right. But that is it for Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. And now, let me change the color real quick to Cocaine Bear. I thought that was a good enough transition. Okay, so let's
She don't
get
lie, she
into
don't
our-
lie, she don't
before
lie.
Actually speaking,
I love cocaine.
I just love the just silence. I love cocaine. Okay. All right. Let's get into our other bear film of the night, Cocaine Bear. Elizabeth Banks' apology for Charlie's Angels, and pretty much the rest of her directing filmography. All right. So, unlike Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, this film certainly takes its ridiculous premise and actually runs with it, going for full-blown horror comedy rather than taking its premise way too seriously. But let's get really into it. The acting was pretty stellar, actually. I mean, nothing groundbreaking, but carried the ridiculous premise right on the line perfectly. There weren't a bajillion MCU-esque quips making fun of its ridiculous premise, and they took the threat of a bear on cocaine seriously enough, but it was still lighthearted enough that you could still laugh with it. While not the most all-star cast ever, it still had quite a few recognizable names like Alden Ehrenreich, Kerry Russell, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Brooklyn Prince, character actress Margot Martindale, Christopher Heavechew, I'm probably mispronouncing that, and Matthew Rhys in a bit part, as well as the late, great Ray Liotta. All of them do such a good job and made their characters memorable and interesting. Even the people I didn't mention, like the young kid Henry and the 3 knife-wielding bullies, were also good and rather funny in their own ways. They aren't winning any awards, but still did quite a bit to make this story and their characters work. Plus, it's got the retail messiah, Scott Seiss. What more can you possibly need? I felt it had a rather balanced pace. For every great or hilarious fast-paced scene with the bear, whether it be horror-oriented or comedy-oriented, you actually had some slower-paced, great character moments. At times, it did feel more than its running time, but they are very few and far between, and the movie more than makes up for it. The comedy was stellar. While not a laugh riot all the way through, when it is funny, it is fucking funny. The ambulance scene alone is worth the price of admission. Me and my parents were howling with laughter in the theater. Plus, it had some great blink and you'll miss it jokes like the Dusty Beaver line. Great stuff. The comedy is top notch and doesn't feel the need to explain the joke every 5 seconds. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I'm looking at you. So I commend it just for that alone. The effects are pretty good. While the bear being obviously CGI irked me, the practicals with the blood and gore were fantastic, with the exception of some obvious CGI shots here and there. But again, they were blink and you'll miss it. I would have preferred that, since it took place in the 80s, that the actual bear be like a puppet or an animatronic, because I think that would have fit the overall 80s vibe. If I had anything negative to say about this movie, it was the slow bits here and there, as I mentioned, even though they weren't that bad in the long run, and as well as the movie being a bit too haphazard at points. However, that's honestly kind of it. This was an overall great and fun time. A much better evil bear movie than that of Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, and a way better horror comedy than M3gan. And with that, I will give it an 8 out of 10. So, sorry, and I forgot to take Zach out before we started this. Whoopsie doodles.
One of these things is not like the other. All right, so when I first saw the trailers for Cocaine Bear, I laughed my ass off. The idea of a bear killing people being hot up on cocaine, I thought was both hilarious and kind of terrifying. Like, imagine if that was like a chimp, like hopped up on like hard drugs. You'd be screwed. So naturally, I couldn't wait to see it. And what did I think? I just thought it was okay. Not amazing. Not terrible. Just fine. I do like how the movie is very self-aware. It knows it's crazy. It knows its concept is silly. It has a lot of fun with itself, and these moments work very well. The scenes with the bear wreaking havoc on a coked-up rampage were easily the highlights of the movie for me. Especially with, like John said, the ambulance scene. That was absolutely hilarious. Every time the bear was on screen, I was having a good time. There's plenty of funny moments that also don't involve the bear, such as David kicking all the teenagers' asses in the bathroom. The acting is solid from everyone, especially from Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and especially from the late great Ray Liotta, which is unfortunately his final performance before his death. And the third act during the waterfall was a lot of fun, and I could not stop laughing at those cubs who were hot up on coke just like their mother. Sadly, while there are plenty of funny moments for me, there's also a lot of moments I found to be pretty boring and uninteresting. The bear is, no pun intended, barely in the movie, and it's only an hour and a half. I know you need the slow-mos to develop the characters, but a lot of it felt like padding and filler. There's a lot of jumping around. It's a little all over the place at points, and it kind of kills the pacing. It also didn't help that I don't really find a lot of these characters to be super interesting. They just felt more like vessels for jokes. And they were a little dull. And I don't know. I kind of wish maybe it was like a wee bit longer. and there was a better balance of the bear action and the character moments. But overall, I mean, my review is short because I don't really have much to say about the movie. Maybe I was in a bad mood when I saw it last night because I don't know, I was pretty tired. But it's harmless, it's fine. And it's far from the worst movie I've ever seen. It is not as awful as Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, but I expected more. I'd say give it a rent. I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
Well, like everybody else, watching the trailer for the first time, seeing how ridiculously crazy and fun this was, I was like, I gotta see this movie. It definitely lived up to being ridiculously fun. The three standouts to me, obviously the Cocaine Bear, Ray Liotta, and also Christian Convery, who played Henry. He was the other standout, especially if you watched Sweet Tooth. Seeing him do coke, and for a kid, it was like, what the fuck? But just seeing him curse. If you've seen Sweet Tooth and seen him in this movie, it's just seeing him curse and all sorts of stuff is really like so different. If you haven't seen that show yet on Netflix, but he was another great standout. My only issue was just the music. The music score sounded like something straight out of Stranger Things. I know it was in the 80s, but like you didn't really have to make it feel like Stranger Things or take that kind of music or tone. And like Cinematic Sterling, there were some boring points where you just kind of like, where's the bear? What's the bear doing? Can we just get back to the stuff we want to see? And who cares about what's going on here? Who cares about this? We just want to see the bear just kill more people. That's really what I was going to see, and I got that too. I was really happy with it. I guess like it's probably my favorite Elizabeth Banks movie as a director. I mean, I haven't really cared much about anything else she's done as a director, and this is probably the first time I actually enjoyed something she directed. And like Geek Informant said, it does make fun of itself a lot, and I'm happy it did. It really took a true event and just expanded on how ridiculously crazy it was. But I guess my score will be a 7 out of 10. I won't really go too much until after we're done with non-spoiler. Worth watching in theaters, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, going into Cocaine Bear, I was expecting a dumb premise about a crazy killing bear that doesn't take itself so seriously based on the trailer I saw. However, I said the same thing for Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, and I've already said enough about that piece of shit. However, unlike that film, Cocaine Bear actually runs with this silly premise and just has fun with itself. Let's face it, the idea of a wild animal high on drugs is a ridiculous, not to mention totally unrealistic, since ingesting that many drugs in any living creature system would kill them easily, but then again, you'd have no movie. But just that concept it's a ridiculous concept. The film knows what kind of movie it is, and it just has fun with it. The humor is hilarious. I was cracking up at a lot of the jokes, especially ones from the kid Henry. The acting is solid from everyone. I'm so happy to see Ray Liotta in a movie one last time before his eventual passing. Rest in peace, my man. And the CGI on the bear didn't bother me too much. Would I prefer practical effects? Sure, yes. But I mean, the CGI was fine enough, I suppose. But I do like that they used like the blood for practical, unlike that other thing that we just talked about, which just stuck with CGI blood and it killed it. But enough of that movie. The kills were very brutal and hilarious at times. Watching this movie, it actually reminded me a lot of Megan, a movie that's so self-aware on how silly it is and has fun with itself. However, one problem I did have with Megan is that they pussied out by making an R-rated film into a PG-13 with all the brutal kills being just quick cutaways. However, Cocaine Bear sticks with it being a hard R rating. It sticks with that concept, so it knows what kind of film. It doesn't change it at the last minute. If I had any issues with it, I would say that the first act was a bit slow. It could have been paced out a little bit better, but it did pick right back up for the second act. I also thought one of the characters, one of the three, those three assholes that were jumping the O'Shea Jackson's character was kind of annoying. The one with the yellow shirt. He did get on my nerves a little bit, but I mean, he wasn't in the movie for too long. So, but I mean, other than that, I had a fun time with this movie. I mean, if you're looking for a fun time with a ridiculous movie, you might enjoy this. I mean, just say the title alone, Cocaine Bear, you should know what you're getting yourself into. And my score is a 7.5 out of 10. Mark?
I hear you. You will wait for me while I pull up my review. If you don't like it, you will bite me.
I thought you were writing it.
No, I just finished, actually. Literally just finished. What do you get when the bear does cocaine? One hell of a good time. As NFL coach Dennis Allen once said, they are who we thought they were. That's pretty much what this movie is in a nutshell. It sounds like a crazy fun time, and that's exactly what it is. Chalk up a win for Elizabeth Banks. This is exactly the film Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey should have been, but wasn't. It's not a perfect film by any means. Despite a great opening, the first act rapidly descends into the quagmire of setting up too many story threads, losing the viewer's attention somewhat, despite some decent humor all the same. It occurred to me that it suffered from the same problem many monster films do, that is, too many humans and not enough monster. Still, O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s David and Isaiah Whitlock Jr.'s Bob managed to carry the film through the slow first act. Once the star of the show returns to save us from this, however, the shit hits the fan at breakneck speed, with a bevy of violence, gore, and visceral humor, and doesn't let up until the end. The film is filled with hilariously violent moments, with character actor Margot Martindale, comedian Scott Seiss, Alden Ehrenreich's Eddie, and Jesse Tyler Ferguson's Peter as some of the standouts. Dee Dee, played by Brooklyn Prince, the adolescent daughter of Kerry Russell's Sorry, comes across as an unlikable brat. Still, she has great chemistry with Christian Convery's Henry, and you come to care about her through the very capable performances of veteran Kerry Russell and newcomer Christian Convery. Screen legend Ray Liotta makes for a great villain in his last complete role. The ending is a bit cheesy, but that's not necessarily a bad thing with a film like this, and it's a sweet and satisfying conclusion at any rate. The real star of the show, however, is the bear. When the film loses sight of that, it lags. When it doesn't, however, it soars. Thankfully, this film soars a lot more than it lags, especially in the second and third acts. My rating is a 7.5 out of 10.
The bear.
Not gonna lie, I'm surprised they didn't have the balls to actually show that the bear, like the real story, is the bear did cocaine and it just OD'd.
He's overdosed.
It did cocaine for 5 hours. We don't know what happened, and then it just died.
I was gonna say that's why I say in my review that it's totally unrealistic, because any wild animal ingest that much cocaine, they would have been dead and there'd be no movie.
Yeah, because I mean the real bear was only like 174 pounds. Black bears are typically not that big, especially females. Females really only get up to like about 175 pounds, and this one was like about 500 pounds. That's maybe a big male black bear may get that large, but this bear was only like 174 pounds or so, and she took like 70 something pounds of cocaine, like 44% of her body weight. So poor thing just died. You know, I mean, Jesus. I thought that's where they were going to go with it at the end, and that would have been a really, really sad ending. I think she just wanted to have a nice, happy ending, though. So
which I don't mind. It's funny because I was, when this like the first like preview started to come out, a buddy of mine was like, I hope this starts a cocaine cinematic universe with just animals like getting high on cocaine.
And just fucking movie.
He's like, I want to fucking see Cocaine Penguin. Okay.
Cocaine ostrich.
Cocaine owl.
Cocaine emu. No. Cocaine emu. It starts another war with Australia.
Yes.
It kills Nicole Kidman. Perfect. I got your movie, guys. Come on, let's do it.
John,
Cocaine emu.
It's
Cocaine
funny,
sloth.
Jack
Yeah,
said
right.
the same fucking thing last night. The cocaine cinematic universe.
Cocaine sloth. Now they're normal speed.
Now,
I remember seeing like a trailer for this movie called Strays, like the dog. I was like, what if they start doing cocaine?
Yeah. They do sell beer in the trailer.
Yeah, they did.
but what about this? I mean, I know the asylum's doing meth gator.
Yeah.
Heroin rabbit.
I don't want to spoil it, but
Meth gator. That sounds like just a Tuesday in Florida.
I don't want to spoil it, but Margot.
I almost considered starting my review with Scott's Ice Dies 0 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of pissed at that. I was like, no, who's gonna complain about retail now? We need him. He is our retail messiah.
That film was so it was so good though.
Yeah, that was.
I was considering giving it like a 7.5, but then when the ambulance scene happened, I'm like, all right, even though my boy died, I'm like, I gotta give it an 8. Like that was just so fucking funny.
That was hilarious.
And then like at the end with the Cubs pulling out the intestines of Ray Liotta, I'm like, ooh, somebody likes sausage, and it was so good. It was so funny. I'm like, all right, I gotta give it for that.
It kept going.
And I will
up.
say,
it lagged in the first act, but honestly, once the bear shows back
the
up,
thing is,
once the bear shows back up, it's great.
The thing is, for me, the first act, I was like kind of intrigued with what was happening because I actually liked all the characters. Like I thought they were distinct enough and memorable and interesting, and like I was like kind of sad to see I was sad to see Scott Seiss die, but that's because I watch his videos. But
who loves Scott Seiss? Who doesn't?
You know, so I was like kind of sad about that, and then but I was like kind of worried for some of the characters at points because I'm like, I actually kind of care about these guys. These are like towards the end where Ice Cube Jr., Little Cube, is dying in the river, and I'm like, no, please. And it was like that's kind of weirdly nice. And so it I don't know, it just worked. And as Rome was saying, this is fucking Elizabeth Banks' first good movie, because the only I was gonna mention this in my review, but the only other movies she's done were Pitch Perfect 2, Charlie's Angels, and a segment from movie 43.
Ew.
No.
Fuck that.
No.
Hell to the no.
No.
How about no?
Infinite Mountain of Nose.
Yes.
Hold on, let me get the clip.
No.
If I can... Where is it?
From the dimension
Technical
of no.
difficulties, ladies and gents.
No, 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 no. In an infinite expanse of no's from the dimension of no, with a statue dedicated to their great creator, the god of no, who wept tears of no that filled the oceans with no and brought about billions of creatures who were no.
Yeah.
And anyone else find it weird? Like they're building up the bear as this because the bear being hot on cocaine, that is terrifying. But then by the end they make her some kind of hero.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I found that kind of weird.
I don't know, I don't know, just like an urban legend sort of thing. I think I think I get it, because it was once the Cubs were introduced, they were like, okay, that mother protecting her Cubs.
Yeah.
Besides, you're not gonna. The audience is not gonna see the bear as some kind of monster. Really, they're just gonna see it as a poor animal that's stumbled across cocaine. So
and got addicted very easily.
Yeah, that's why I see why they didn't kill the bear, because that just would have been.
Yeah, that would have been just too sad, and it would have been
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember I was watching the opening, and Andrew Thornton, the guy who was throwing the cocaine out, why do I recognize him? I'm like, oh hey, Matthew Reese. He was in a Beautiful Neighborhood or whatever. And he was also in the reboot of Perry Mason, and he's a good actor. But I'm like, oh my god, that guy! And they blink it, you'll miss it. Like I was like, oh hey, that's cool. But that was good. I just overall like I was kind of worried like this would more so be like Winnie-the-Pooh, even with all the good reviews, because who knows, like everyone was saying Ant-Man and the Wasp and the overly long title was going to be like the best MCU movie since Iron Man, and it sucked. So like, you know, from what you guys have said, I can't judge it, but I don't plan to judge it because MCU is in the pit of empty souls. Because
I don't blame you, man.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Modok be like, you're in my class, not the other way around.
Oh, you know everything. You know nothing.
Both of you report to the principal's office.
I'm just saying.
Birds.
I'm just saying. I did not need to see MODOK's ass in the fucking film. Good God.
Marvel.
Okay, yeah, like the only cheeks I want to fucking see are Michelle Pfeiffer's. Come on now, like wrong cheeks, Marvel. Come on now. Fuck it. Now I have to watch Batman Returns again. Fuck you guys.
That's great.
What's wrong? Yeah, Batman Returns is awesome.
Batman Returns is great.
It's a good movie.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
But anyway,
it's a movie you either love or you hate.
Of Marvel.
Yeah. So we got one good bear film and one bad bear film.
Yeah, even I'll say that. Like, I get it. Like, it's. But I will say though, I did want to bring up one thing. I was gonna bring this up, but then I forgot. But Rob reminded me again. I will say, okay, CGI blood can work in a sensationalist movie. It can work. Like I remember David Fincher's Zodiac. I remember that used CGI blood, and that the way he did it, like he made it work. Like it was very done in like a bit of an exaggerated sensationalist sort of way. That way I can see it work. Like if it is done in a way that's so over exaggerated, the only way you can make it work is with CGI. That I can see. But if you can make it work in camera, please, for the love of God, in camera, please, because it just looks better. But I'll forgive CGI blood in the rare exceptions. It's supposed to work better as CGI. I will give it that. But more often than not, practicals, please. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys agreed with me, but I would have loved to see like an animatronic puppet bear.
That would have been cool.
That would have been
like
awesome.
I remember. I'll relate it to. I remember James Rolfe was saying this about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He's like, yeah, he's like, I like the movie, and then the alien showed up. He's like, I didn't even totally hate the alien. He's like, the thing that would have made it better is if it was like a cheesy 1950s looking alien, like from the 1950s B movies. Then it would have made sense. But the fact that you CGI, it looked dumb. I'm not saying that Cocaine Bear, like the bear, like it like totally ruined the film. That the fact that it was CGI, but I think it would have fit the times more if they used like a puppet or an animatronic or both, like a combination of both. I think that could have worked. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but I think that could have been added. I mean, especially if it was purposefully bad.
It's like what I said. Even though I didn't mind the CGI and the bear, I think I still would have preferred the practical effects a little bit more. So.
Yeah, but that's just us. We always prefer practicals because just
practicals
look better.
At least practicals look like they're actually there.
Yeah.
So
most of the time, like sometimes CGI does look really good, but that's when you actually put care into it, like James Cameron or Steven Spielberg, like they actually like give a shit and we're like, okay, let's try to use a mix or something like that. But it didn't break the movie for me. It didn't ruin the movie. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I just think it would have been funnier. That's all. Especially if it was like a purposefully bad puppet.
Yeah.
But then you'll have the people that'll be like, oh, this looked really stupid and think it was like played straight, and you have all that. But whatever. That's just me. I'm talking too much. Anybody else have anything to say?
No, not really.
True for the bear to kill everybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's Especially
I mean-
Dee Dee and the kids. I'm like, just kill the kids. Just make it pretty crazy.
Honestly,
kids.
I
Yeah.
would have liked. I mean, you had kids doing drugs, which is perfect, awesome.
Yep.
Kids need to do more drugs in movies. Do it, Hollywood.
The views and opinions of the Geek Informant do
way
not
they
reflect
did
the
it
rest of
was-
the views of the cool kids.
The way they
it's
did
just
it
like-
was pretty fucking hilarious too, though. I mean, it got funny how they didn't even know how to take it. So I mean, they didn't know to snort it. So they just took a huge amount of it, just
They just
put it in
ate
their
the whole
mouth and
Yep.
shit.
Flour. But
That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's
some of
funny
that would have
'cause,
gotten in their system too.
our buddy in the backstage, like how, because that's like the first thing I go to in terms of child murder in movies is the Blob in the remake. Thank you for bringing that up, Zach. That is a good way, because like fucking kill some kids, goddammit.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Like it just ups your movie.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, adults
I wouldn't
die,
have minded.
nobody cares.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded
So-
the little girl dying because she was kind of a little bitch.
Oh, I couldn't
I
stand her.
actually
annoying.
didn't mind her that much. I
Yeah.
like the
I didn't
actress.
like
She's a very good actress. Like,
She is. She
Um,
actually is. She did a good job.
wasn't she the one in the Florida Project?
The little boy did a good job
Hmm?
too. Was that Hunter?
Oh, I love the little boy, Christian Convery. He
Oh
did
yeah, he was
fantastic.
fucking
He was
hilarious.
phenomenal.
That bear was fucked.
I am so tired.
That's honestly, I hate to act like a Gen Zer, but mood.
Yeah.
You are Gen Z.
I am so fucking tired. I'm like, oh, you tell him, kid. In 20
He
years,
was- he was
he's gonna be the exact
hilarious.
Same
He was
way.
great.
He was hilarious.
He's great, man. Oh my god.
He is
That's
great.
awesome.
Like, oh Jesus, I want to bring this kid home, man. I mean,
That sounded so wrong.
no, I mean like adopt him, dickhead. Jesus Christ. What the fuck, Devin? Go straight to-
Hey Devin. Hey Devin. Have a seat. Have a seat. Right over there.
You should have there.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
But I did thought for a while that I thought Dee Dee did get killed by the bear, because when you see Henry, you're like, where did Dee Dee go? He said the bear took her. I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
you killed everybody else. Why not kill Dee Dee? How did she just have just one scratch on her leg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it was a little weird, but like, I'll
Yeah.
allow it.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I wondered the same thing, Rome. Honestly, I thought maybe she must have gotten away somehow. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Well, maybe not necessarily because she was in the bear cave. So like,
yeah, seriously. Like Kaylee said,
That's
slap
what I'm
her
saying.
up the back.
That's what I'm saying.
but
It's
like,
what
you know what? If
You know what it
don't
was?
think
It was
about
that
you heard it.
cocaine. She was on cocaine too, so she must have been extra fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because seriously, some of it would have gotten under their tongue and gotten in their system. So yeah, they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like they didn't, you
How
know,
else do you think he got? that
they
fucking
didn't, you know,
first?
I'm surprised they didn't go with that a little bit farther because it's like I'm like he would have absorbed, especially when Henry, the little boy, like sniffed it too. He like
Yeah,
sniffed it a
exactly.
bit, and it would have he would have technically snorted some. So it's like
Exactly.
he would have felt something, like at least
Yeah.
make him like jittery or something.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
That's
It
what I
does.
thought he was doing
How the
because
hell do you
like,
think he got so high in the fucking tree? I mean, shit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was
He
thinking.
was Spider-Man in
Because-
disguise.
Exactly.
Because he asked the nurse, his Dee's mom, like, "Hey, what does cocaine do to you?" So I thought, okay, we're going somewhere. He's getting more.
Yeah,
messed
it
up
didn't
or
really pay
something.
that
You
off.
didn't
Yeah.
pay that off.
Um,
By the way, do you guys think it was a missed opportunity that they didn't cast Michael Caine? Michael Caine.
no fucking way would he ever have done this.
I had to make a Michael Caine joke.
My cocaine.
Yeah, Michael Caine. I just had to make a joke.
Yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, just Cocaine Bear was just such a good time. It was a good,
Yeah.
it was a good feel good movie. You
Yeah.
know, it.
I love
It had me
Michael Caine as an
laughing.
actor, but he would have chewed up the fucking scenery, man. Jesus Christ.
The dip,
No,
Jack,
the
not
dip.
the
That's
mayonnaise.
mayonnaise, son.
He chewed up the scenery more than the bear chewed those people.
Seriously, but come on. He went so over the top in Dark Knight Rises. I failed! Just shut the
He
fuck up.
I
overacted.
swore to protect you and I failed you.
He's not my favorite Alfred. Dear God. I mean,
No, I agree.
Yeah, same here.
Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
Hey, Alfred, you want some hot chocolate? Well, the year was 1955, and I was fishing with my father.
me too, son. Me too, dog.
All right, I'm done.
You sure?
I'm done.
Or should I play the clip?
I'm
Should I
done.
play the fucking clip? Okay. Just stay done, bitch.
Get out the salsa.
I'm not saying anything.
But yeah, like Cocaine Bear was a good time. I'm upset Winnie-the-Pooh wasn't as good. But
Wait, the salsa con queso. Yeah.
There we go.
But anybody else have really anything to say about Cocaine Bear?
Unmute.
Go see it.
Go see it. It's worth seeing.
It's worth the price of admission. It's even though we spoiled it, but you know, it's still go see it. It's a good time. Don't go see Winnie the Pooh Blood Money. See
Fuck that movie.
Even though I don't love this movie, I'd say see this over fucking Winnie the Pooh One Honey.
Yeah.
Then again, this is Citizen Kane
Or
compared to
Ant-Man
Winnie
and the
Pooh.
Wasp and the Overly Long Time.
Oh fuck that.
Yeah.
And M3 again, but that's not in theaters anymore. So, but
I
fuck
would
that
rather
movie.
pound my balls
Don't
with
be
a hammer
cocky.
than go see.
And also, you know what you should definitely see Cocaine Bear more than? Definitely Titanic, because that's, you know.
Oh boy!
1,000% more bear than Titanic.
Agree.
But no, Megan. No. No.
Do it.
Yeah.
See it. Do it.
Like be a sensible person. Not be a freaking. It's like Key and Peele's
All right, that's enough from you.
By the way, was the snowy background intentional?
Huh?
Partly because of cocaine, and also partly it was snowing in my area, so I'm like, it
yeah,
works.
it snowed a little bit down here.
Same here.
Not here. Mark and I don't have snow.
I just feel bad for you because
You
snow is
assholes.
amazing. Fuck you.
No, it's not.
Okay?
I hate snow.
Hey, guess what? We can still go
We have 80
places.
degree
Can
weather.
you drive in the snow?
Because it is.
I can drive in the snow because it was only like snowing for like 30 seconds.
But you got to watch out for road conditions. Ha ha.
Yeah, but guess what? Snow is fucking awesome. So you can't build
I
snow.
think we've overstayed our
Fuck you.
welcome here.
We're from
Let's
New
wrap it
England.
up.
Well, not Devin, but me.
Yes,
and
you're
John.
born
Anyway,
with
before this goes too out of hand, wrapping up our thoughts. See one, not the other. Anybody else have anything to say? Just real quick. I know I've said that 10 times, but I'm just saying it again.
Cocaine Bear is 2 thumbs up. It's a good
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2
go-
claws up.
2 claws
2
up.
kilos up.
2.
Remember, if it's
and-
black, fight back. Unless it's on cocaine. Unless it has
Bitch,
white.
I'm running.
I
I'll
will-
die, but I'll run. I'm not
I'm
I love
fighting.
gonna
that
fuck out of
scene
there.
where they're like, Black Bear,
All
you
right.
gotta fight it.
If it's black, fight back. If
There
it's
you
brown,
go,
lay
yeah.
down. If it's white, good night.
Yep.
I will
Like
just
that.
say
How am I
this.
supposed to kill a
I did
bear?
not see the movie because a friend of mine
You're saying it's your
Really?
best.
just
There we go.
made it.
Black bears are not aggressive.
And so what? And if you're watching, you know who you are. I'm just saying.
Black bears are not
All
typically very
right,
aggressive.
let's not overstay our welcome.
Okay. So
Seriously, yeah.
let's go ahead and announce.
Next week, we are doing
Creed 3.
3, and that's going to be hosted by Right Dude, right?
Yeah, I'm hosting. Creed 3,
I
yes.
forgot for a hot
I was pointing at myself.
No, I know.
dude.
I'm just like,
him.
I know, but like, I didn't see that.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Anyway, so Right Dude is hosting Creed 3. After that, I don't remember.
Which is
So,
looking
you know.
very good, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yes.
so looking
Isn't
forward to Creed 3.
Jonathan Majors needs to be in a good threequel as the villain.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's being compared more to Cape Fear than to a Rocky film.
And
Ooh.
next,
That's actually a
And-
movie I haven't seen. Neither version, actually.
and after
Oh,
Creed
I've seen
3
both.
is Shazam. I believe is Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Which is not tracking very well, sadly.
No.
You
Yeah.
know what? Shut up.
No.
35 million, I think they were saying it was going to open.
Well, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's like it's surrounded with Creed 3. Then you got what's the other movie before after Shazam? Scream 6. Then you got something else. The whole month of
Gives a
March are
fuck
basically
about
screwed.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like the whole March is packed.
Yeah.
I
got,
this boy gets fucked about
March
Scream
is packed.
6.
You got John Wick 4 coming out at the end of
John
March.
Wick
So it's
4.
like,
Oh, yeah,
John
John
Wick.
Wick 4 is gonna be awesome.
65.
Oh, but
yeah.
which is going to be nearly 3 hours long, by the way, I
I
heard.
can't wait.
That
More
sounds
long
really
movies.
good. But anyway,
Keanu Reeves kicking ass. Hell yeah.
but that is what's like some teases for future films. Not Scream 6 because fuck Scream 6. But
Unless we all like it enough.
I'm not seeing it, and none of these guys are seeing it, so fuck you. Anyway,
I'm seeing it. But
that's
never
it for
doing
now. We'll see you next time.
Once again, we have brought light